Hi, I'm Brian Perry, tutoring high school biology. Today's topic, mammals. Yes, finally, one of the last steps in the evolutionary chain, or at least as far as we know. There may be something a little more complex out there. But anyway, mammals. Big thing, mammary glands. These allow mothers to feed the young with milk, and all mammals have them. Other than that, we see a lot of things we've seen before. Four-chambered heart's circulatory system is still closed, still double loop. Alright, they're endotherms. Again, just like birds, these guys regulate their internal body temperature, not by behavior, but completely internally. They'll use things like subcutaneous fat that's below the skin, to trap in extra heat, fur, sweat. All of these will help regulate the body temperature. They have adapted jaws and teeth based on what they eat. Carnivores, sharper teeth. Herbivores, duller teeth that are more for chomping. Omnivores, like us, both kinds. Lungs. They've added something called the diaphragm, which is this muscle right underneath your lungs. All it does is expand the volume of the lungs by pulling downward. This creates a vacuum and just pulls air in. Works perfectly. You're breathing right now. They also have internal fertilization of the egg, which, well, it's fairly obvious. A lot of other creatures have external fertilization, like amphibians. Mammals, it's all internal. Alright, now let's look at the circulatory system, just because we might need to later on. Alright, four-chambered heart, just like the birds, left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle, and a dual loop. Oxygen-poor blood will come in to the right atrium from the body, filter into the right ventricle, and then get pumped out into the lungs. Then from the lungs, we get oxygen-rich blood. It'll come into the left atrium, filter into the left ventricle pumps, and it goes through the body. Oxygen is depleted, comes back into the right atrium, so on and so forth. That's mammals. To recap, mammals have mammary glands, which allow mothers to feed the young with milk. They have four-chambered hearts. They're endothermic. They regulate their internal body temperature using internal processes, things like subcutaneous fat, fur, and sweat. They've adapted jaws and teeth depending on the species to what they eat. Herbivores have things that are very good at chomping. Carnivores have things that are good at tearing. Omnivores have both. They use a diaphragm, a muscle underneath the lungs, to expand the lungs to bring in air. And fertilization of the eggs is done internally. If we look at the circulatory system, again with the four-chambered heart, left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. Oxygen-poor blood comes into the right atrium, filters into the right ventricle, and is pumped to the lungs. When it becomes oxygen-rich, it'll come back in through the left atrium, filter into the left ventricle, and get pumped to the body. Alright, that's all for now. Again, I'm Brian Peer. See you next time.